Minus 15 seconds. Guidance is internal. 12, 11, 10, 9. Ignition sequence start.
And with this, welcome to the first episode of
the Long Take Podcast.
Here at Cicada Studios. How about that intro, huh?
Yeah, I think we should keep these film transition trailer kind of things in the beginning.
The Long Take Podcast, a podcast by indie filmmakers digging into the art, technique, and realities of making movies outside the system. Enjoy the ride. I think it's going to be a bumpy ride for this podcast, for our studio, much like this film, which is a fantastic film, but not all of us agreed it was a fantastic film.
Yeah, we watched it yesterday, actually. And we had split opinions, I would say.
Yeah, some people found it very touching and some people found it not entertaining.
Yeah, but undeniably, it has very good cinematography.
Yeah, technically.
To me.
Yeah.
No, also not to everyone.
Technically, I think this is just an incredible film. I think one of the biggest things that caught me was the fact that how does somebody make a space movie that's been told many times before? We've had Space Cowboys, we've had Apollo 13, we've had all kinds of movies, and here comes along a director that totally does a completely original take on it, and I'm blown away. So maybe the story is slow, maybe somebody didn't find it entertaining, but man, I felt like every detail was so technically precise. It just was pretty phenomenal in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, the problem with the story is obviously that you know it already. We all know that Neil Armstrong was the first man on the moon, and you know how it ends. But in general, I really liked it. I was one of the few people that actually liked it.
And I think it was also from a different perspective. It's telling a story of him as a person, not the story of the mission per se, because it was talking about his personal journey, his loss and grief about his daughter, and how do you deal with that and also be the first man on the moon. Like, it's at the end of the day, he's a father and he still have to deal with it. Doesn't matter if you go to the moon. I think that's what I took from the movie.
Yeah, that's a cool perspective here. I mean, we don't want to talk about it too long, but I would also say and add that it showed a very, very precise gender picture of the 1960s. It was damn well executed with like the role between the woman and the man and their relationship. So that's a point that the film definitely objectively nails.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
With that, like we're talking about this film, who the hell are we? Why are we here? What is this podcast about? Let's at least start there.
Yeah, I mean, it's the first podcast for us all, right? Like the first podcast we've ever been recording, I guess.
Yeah.
For you?
I mean, it's not the first podcast for me, but it's the first podcast, obviously, for us as a collective, Cicada Studios, which we should talk about. We're missing Ervis, unfortunately.
Yeah, and it is the first podcast for me ever.
Yeah, same for me. Like, yeah, first real podcast in English, which is not my mother tongue, obviously. And maybe we just want to start with like a small introduction of all of us. And I guess we just start with Ranjit.
Yeah.
I'm Ranjit. I am originally from India, been in Berlin for the last 3.5 years. Ended up being friends with a bunch of filmmakers here, and yeah, here I am being in a podcast about short films and indie filmmaking, and I don't know, God knows what we will talk about.
Nice. My name is Tom. I'm originally from a small town in the north of Germany called Stralsund, for anyone who knows that. And I've been in Berlin for like almost 10 years now, like 9.5 years. And it's kind of the same story. We all met like in the same community. We will come to that later. But got into filmmaking after being a musician for a long time. It always like surprises me how many musicians are actually getting into filmmaking somehow. But yeah, I'm one of those people. Yeah, I'm obviously like pretty excited for this podcast. Just ranting, talking, discussing about everything film related. And with that, we come to Chris.
Yep. Hi, Chris Bruce. I'm actually originally from Los Angeles. I grew up there and migrated to San Francisco and moved my whole family here to Berlin for a startup, my 5th startup. And as we'll talk about the studio, basically kind of failed my way into this studio. So this is a new endeavor for all of us. And yeah, I mean, I love filmmaking. I've been making short films for a super long time. Mostly like to write, direct, and edit, although some people are faster editing than I am. But yeah, here we are in Berlin. And we've all connected through a common film group called the Movienerds. And yeah, it's just a giant community in Berlin, great meetup, great group of folks. And here we are today. Like, we are a group of filmmakers that want to make feature films. We've been making short films. I think we want to make a feature film, and we want to actually be making films every day instead of going to a job that we don't like. And so this is our attempt. Our attempt is to build a studio, work together, do some commercials, some content, and make our first feature together.
That would be sick. Yeah. What do you think? Maybe we start with your first touching point in your life with the medium film. When was that? How many years ago?
Oh my God, it's impossible to say. So yeah, for me, my whole family, huge movie buffs. Like, ever since I was a kid, I'm an old man. I'm like 50 years old, and balding, fat, all the whole grown-up thing. But back in the day, I went to a drive-in theater to see a movie. So we used to go to a drive-in theater. My whole family, we go every holiday, Thanksgiving, Christmas, you name it. We would go see a movie, whatever the blockbuster was. Our whole lives were movies. And in fact, I think, man, I want to say I was like 9 or 10 years old. And my dad took me to an R-rated movie, which was Rambo: First Blood. And yeah, I mean, I just love the cinema.
Responsible dad.
Yeah. Maybe, but at the time I was really into Army and G.I. Joe and all this stuff. So, but yeah, ever since then, you know, we loved films, and then eventually I started making them. Not on an 8mm. My dad didn't give me a camera or anything like that, but I really wanted to make music videos, and so me and my brother, who's a special effects artist, got together, and we got a camera, we got some gear, and we just started making stuff. And later on, I joined some other communities like Group 101 in San Francisco. We made a short film every 30 days, and then moved here to Berlin. 2 years of COVID, and then finally I got the nerve, okay, I could go out in public again, and I joined the Filmmaker Movienerds meetup.
Oh, how did this happen? Like, was it like a conscious decision? Like the day you decided you want to go to a meetup now, or how did you find it?
How did you find the meetup?
Yeah.
Yeah, good question. I mean, I think it's, I've been wanting to do a meetup, and I just suspected that every major city has some kind of filmmaking group. And interestingly enough, the day I looked, the meetup was the very next day. And there was another filmmaking meetup here, which I think is less active, but luckily I went to the one that was the next day, and it turned out where I met all you guys. And within 1 week of joining, maybe 2 weeks, we were making a short film together.
Oh, Waldeinsamkeit.
Yeah.
Yeah. You guys can watch this on YouTube, actually. It's on the Filmmaking Movienerds channel. Really cool film. Aliens.
Yeah. We'll post a link to that in the
A
show
dog.
notes. Yeah.
A cute dog.
Was it part of a movie sprint, or was it?
Yeah, it was a movie sprint for sci-fi. And, you know, I just, you know, Moritz, who's the founder of the group, was really pressuring. Like, he wanted something to shoot, wanted somebody to write something. So I wrote something. And then the next thing I know, he's like, okay, you're directing it. And literally within a week of writing it, we shot, and it basically started editing within 7 days, essentially. Like, I wrote it, 7 days later, we're editing it. So that was my entry into this crazy filmmaking group. That's where I met you, Tom, but you were sick at the time.
Yeah.
One of many times Tom was sick.
Yeah, unfortunately. My immune system is not that great. Yeah. But whatever, I got to deal with it somehow, I would say. It is what it is. How about you, Ranjit?
My introduction to movies, I mean, I come from India. They make like 2,000 movies every year. It's like something crazy like that. Of course, like one of the most popular like entertainment for families, and everyone is watching movies. So I've been watching movies since I was like very, very young. And in India, we don't take this rating system that seriously for good or bad. So I watched all kinds of movies as a child. Then of course I never thought of like making movies. I really liked watching them. but then I got my camera at some point, like after getting a job and moving away from India. I bought a camera with my own money and started shooting pictures. And I really liked pictures. I really liked looking at pictures, color correcting them, like just see the entire process. And then at some point I realized, oh, it could be more fun if you do video. And at the same time I moved to Berlin, and this was a new city. I had no friends, so I was like, okay, I have two objectives: to find a new hobby, like get into video, at the same time, like find some people to hang out with. And I joined the Meetup app, and I found this group with like, I think at that point, it had like 400 people already in it. I was like, oh, a lot of people are going there, so it should be pretty popular. I just showed up. Yeah, that's how I ended up making the short films and being part of different short films there. But it took me like a year, I think, to be part of the first short film. Just because I was kind of lazy and not being very proactive about it. But yeah, I ended up at Hesitation, and I met you there. I think we met there and we talked about doing something together like all the time. But the first time we ended up working was when we shot Hesitation.
True. That was the very first time we actually worked together.
Yeah, and you were sick.
Yeah, shit.
There is a running theme here. If it's not Breaking Bones, he's sick on his deathbed. It's like the whole world is conspiring against Tom here.
To my defense, the last two productions I haven't been sick.
2 out of what? How many? All right, Tom. How about you? Like, how did you get your start? Yeah, I think when we joined the group, Tom was already here. He must have been here from day one. So
Yeah. It's kind of a long story for me. Yeah, and it's all mixed up. I think it all started with like a slight fascination for movies when I was a child. We were just like growing up watching movies every now and then, like just the classics, to be honest, just like Harry Potter, absolutely my time. Like every year we were looking forward to that. And we were going to the cinema quite regularly, but my fascination for the medium video came basically with like the start of YouTube, because it was just such a cool time. Like the beginning of YouTube, I'm not sure if you guys remember, you probably remember you as well, but I'm just speaking from a German perspective, but in Germany, there were like a handful of people that were just going crazy at the time. And I was just following that every single day. I was like, oh, this is so cool that you can have like your own TV channel. Like I was watching a lot of YouTube videos, and one day I found this guy called Freddie W. I'm not sure if you guys remember that. Freddie Wrong, who was like a special effects guy. And then I instantly started like learning everything about green screens and actually like photoshopping lightsabers into the video. And I asked all my friends if we can make a short film when I was 16. Which I can find, unfortunately. I would love to see this short film. It's on some random YouTube channel, but I might have taken it down when I was like 17, so I'm not really sure if I still have it. But we were just filming with like a random shitty camera we had at the time, and people were like just shooting at each other. There was like zero story. It was basically just a movie for special effects, After Effects practice. That was my very first short film. I remembered after a long time that I did that. And then I completely forgot about film for like a long time. I was basically just grinding music, playing in different bands, and producing music videos. And over producing music videos, I realized like, holy shit, the camera guy is so damn cool. I just want to get back into this. And once I found the time, I like doubled all in, which led me to this interesting moment of my life. I don't think it happens very often that you have like a moment where you sit on your desk in the evening, like you slightly melancholic mood, and you're like, yeah, this is a time. I need to change something now. What is the first step that I can do? After watching a YouTube video, of course, that told me like, you just need to start. So yeah, and exactly at that evening, I just went on a Facebook page. Like I went on Facebook.com because of muscle memory. I haven't been on Facebook ever, like 5 years, no Facebook. And this was the first day I went on Facebook again. And the first post that showed up was Filmmakers and Movienerds Discord. So I joined Discord and forgot about it for 3 months. And then later I remembered it again. And at the same day I remembered it, there was an event in the Discord for portrait photography at Moritz Place. And then I was just like, oh, should I go there? Because it's like socially very exhausting to go to a new place where I will probably meet like 40 new people at once.
Probably get sick.
And yeah, and get sick, exactly. Yeah, and then I just went there, had a great time, great evening. And that is also the reason why I never had to introduce myself at a meetup. I'm probably the only person in the community because usually there's like an introduction round, and I never had to do that. Yeah.
Fair. So you're early adopter of the meetup.
Exactly.
Kind of, yeah. I think it was pretty early, but it was ongoing for 5 months, maybe. Like, so not that.
And this
early.
was in 2021?
That's a good question. Because like COVID years, I don't know, man. Like slightly after COVID, I would say. Yeah.
A 3-year anniversary, I think, is coming up.
Yeah.
In July or June.
So that was probably like 2 years ago. The day I joined.
This Filmmaker and Movienerds is just phenomenal community. The reason why I think it's so good, and this is why I think everybody that's in film you need a community.
Yeah.
Like, it is a collaborative sport. No film gets made by one individual. I mean, maybe there are some, but the reality is the best thing you can do is be part of a group. DOP, future DOP or DOP now, and AC and writers, directors. Yeah, I mean, it's just so important to have people to go and shoot a film with together. And it's crazy because, I've been talking to some people lately, and I know a couple people. Like one person we know is making a short film for like 30,000 euros, and I'm like, man, I feel like you can make a whole film for that much money. Why do a short? And then I met somebody else who actually has an award-winning film that was filmed or shown at Cannes, short film. And she made a short film, a crowdfunded short film, right before COVID, and now is just waiting on funding. Like, she needs money to make her next. And I'm just feeling like, I don't know. It's like we've done so much together with so little.
With so little money. Yeah.
Granted, we've gotten equipment and stuff and purchased equipment, but this is equipment that I've used over the last since 2013 for just content. Like, I've been. Even though I'm a startup founder, I've just been focused on creating content at all of these things because it's my passion. And so just with a handful of cameras, we've been able to just shoot so much stuff. And I think it's so important to the community. And I don't think I would have never met any of you guys if I didn't go. And yeah, it's just crazy how those little seeds planting. And now we have a studio we're building, and yeah, we're working on feature film.
Yeah. And there's so much more to learn, but also so much we learned already. Yeah. It's absolutely phenomenal, this community.
Yeah, I can only compare, my experience with myself, right? Like, yeah, there are people who knows more than me out there, but like me 3 years ago knows very little about filmmaking, and me now knows more than me 3 years ago. I think that's the way to look at it, at least for me. Yeah, we had the fortunate, how do you say, like, you make your own luck being in the right place at the right time.
Yeah, I like this theory of the surface of luck that, like everyone says you got so lucky and everything just came into place. But I think the reality is oftentimes that you have to do something to increase your chances of luck, like at least something. Sometimes you just got to be lucky to meet the right persons at the right time. But it just works for some reason.
So kind of lucky we're talking about this, because I just had this conversation literally this week with my daughter, talking about what is luck. Luck isn't, in my opinion, some preordained thing. Luck is having opportunity and be able to take advantage of that opportunity when it comes. And I think the number one thing to increase your opportunity of something is to network, is to know people, is to interact with people, to help people, to be kind, put out good energy. And just, it's really through people. If you think about it, a lot of luck is really like, oh, I know somebody that's looking for somebody at this right time, and I just so happen to be able to take advantage.
Yeah.
So I feel like that's kind of luck. Luck is, creating opportunity or making opportunities more possible, and then taking advantage of the opportunity when it shows up.
Yeah, it's kind of like rolling a dice, and the more often you roll it, and you got the opportunity to like just roll it more often, you will win more often as well. So
And I think it's also important to be the person who is introducing other people to other people, because that has happened to me also. Like, oh, somebody knows that I'm into making videos, and so they have no reason to introduce me to this random person, but they being a good person, like, hey, you should talk to each other. So it's not just you showing up, but also like, if you, I don't know, being active in introducing other people, like, being like really good with other people and helping, showing up on time. I think that's also very important. People
Well,
don't do
I'm not so sure about this one. So many people I know in the film industry are just like never on time, and the best people actually are never on time. It's kind of weird sometimes.
Yeah, maybe once you get there, you can.
Yeah.
I'm just speaking for himself.
I'm not speaking for myself. Hello.
Maybe once you
I'm
get
always on
there,
time.
you can not be on time, but
But would you agree that I think to a certain degree, also like when you go to Filmmaking Movienerds, you have to be a bit proactive?
Oh, for sure, yeah.
Because I've seen people coming there and just coming like for 5 weeks, not speaking to and like anyone, not initiating anything. And I think like that's why your example was so great, because you just went there and you made a movie within 7 days. I kind of had the same experience. I was just like standing up and being like, hey, I have no idea what to film, but I would just want to do something, like anything. And then we ended up making this movie with Rabani, director friends of us. And yeah, wasn't the best film ever, of course not. Like the first 2 movies I did there also weren't like the best, just shitty lighting. First one, absolute beginner mistake, like focus completely in the picture and audio was not very well, which wasn't good enough. But when you're proactive, I think you can just grow and you just create your own learning field.
yeah. When I remember meeting Marina on the first day when I was there, and then I think she asked for a lens on Discord, and I was thinking about it like twice. Oh, should I give my lens to this random person? And I did, and that is how I actually ended up at Hesitation, because the like I gave her my lens, and then eventually we became neighbors. We didn't know about this, and then she was part of Hesitation, and I met Mary through her and made more friends. So it's like, yeah, maybe I didn't participate in a movie, in a short film immediately, but at least like, hey, you can have my lens for a couple of days. It's also like taking that proactive approach to actually reach out and say, okay, you can have my lens. I come trusting you with this. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it just goes to show you, just the bigger your community, the more people you connect with, the easier it is going to be to make a film. And chances are you're going to have everybody that you need, like we do, to make a film for sweat equity, essentially. We're all working towards the same goal. So, I mean, speaking of which, like, what is your goals? Like, we're starting this studio called Cicada Studios, which is this beautiful mountain range in the Dolomites. It's just phenomenal. And ever since I saw that, I was just like, I want to make movies that are as classic and beautiful as this mountain. And and so that's kind of how the name came to be. And then we all just got together because we all have the same shared goals. We want, we've been making a lot of short films. We want to start going to the next level. We want to get into more of a pro level. We want to make an actual feature film, probably, a couple that we're kind of developing now. So, for me, that's my goal. My goal is to make an amazing an amazing feature, and have all my friends I've met through this community help on it. See it on a big screen, enter a film festival, and not be a short, but be an actual feature. And hopefully even make some money on it. I don't know. We'll see. I mean, it's probably the worst time in history for filmmaking, but I think in some ways maybe we're completely stupid by building this, but I think that some of the best companies and projects get built when, everything's going to shit.
There is uncertainty. Yeah. There is turbulence in the industry, and you bring something new. For me, eventually I want to make something timeless, like something that I am proud of, the people whom I make with are proud of. And I don't know, is it a feature film, YouTube video? Yes, ultimately the movie nerd in me wants to make a feature film. Like that's the ultimate goal, right? Like, have my name on IMDb. But along the way, do all the things I can to become a better filmmaker. Like, yeah, you can learn so much about making an ad. You can learn so much about filmmaking by also making YouTube video. Yeah, it's different audience, different way of telling the same story, but um, you will learn something from it. But ultimately, making something timeless, it doesn't matter. Like when you watch it, maybe in the next 100 years, you still watch it and think, okay, yeah, it's still a story. It's universal. People can enjoy it. It doesn't feel like, oh, it's dated. Yeah. So if I can do that, I'll be very happy. But ultimately, also have fun because it's fun.
Yeah, for me, it's everything, everywhere, all at once. I would say. I don't know. It feels a bit like I don't care so much about the goal. It's more like I really, really enjoy doing images and creating nice images. It's literally like the most fun thing to do ever. And everything that is related to it, I'm like super happy to do. So obviously, I would love to do a feature film one day and just be the director of photography for a feature film. Hopefully it looks nice as well. But I'm also completely fine with just like creating videos and on YouTube, for example, I would love to grow my YouTube channel a bit, do more music videos, try documentaries. I'm like a huge fan of documentaries, to be honest. I think I watch actually more documentaries than feature films. It's changing a bit because of you guys, but like there was definitely a phase in my life where I was watching extremely huge amount of documentaries. Yeah, but as you said, like right now I'm completely in learning mode. I just want to like absorb everything that I can get to know about cinematography, and just practice, and music, feature films. Yeah. I'm up for anything, but my passion is definitely just creating beautiful images.
Yeah, speaking of beautiful images, like, yeah, what movie, cinematographer, shot, like, what is something that stands out as like super inspiring for you? Like, everything I want to know about filmmaking, this person is giving to me, or this shot, or what is one thing in cinema that just
Like one
person, movie, anything, just whatever it is that just comes to mind that is really inspiring you, and maybe it's something you want to emulate, something that just really influenced you.
Yeah, I like lately, to be honest, like I'm still learning about like new cinematographers every day. But lately, my favorite one has been Heute von Hoytema because of the constant camera movement. I just love that. I love these slide push-ins. If you watch a movie of him, it's like it never stops. It's a sideways movement. It's a slide push-in, push-out all the time. He shoots a lot on film, which is also really cool. But that guy is somehow really inspiring me lately. Yeah.
Super good. I like him. He shot Nope, and they did like a infrared. They had two cameras, infrared and a regular camera, and most of that was shot day for night.
Yeah.
And so I think I love the look of it. I love day for night because it feels like it's always a full moon. And the old movies used to do it, and it looks so. But
it's also so hard to do. It's so hard to nail. It can look quite cheap quickly.
This is what they did. So they use infrared camera. They use that channel for a specific reason, and then they would also take a plate of the place at night so that they could replace the lights. But I don't know what he was after, why he really wanted to do day for night, but to me, it's just cool. I mean, it's super cool because you see the sky. It's like a full moon. It just has a really neat look, in my opinion. But back to inspiration. Yeah. How about you? What's
for me, the Back to the Future movies is the how do I say, like it's not about just cinematography, but overall I really like the emotion and the mood of those kind of movies. It's like, yeah, it has a good story, but at the same time it's science fiction, so it's not like your regular life. It's also adventure. Like how can you bring that emotion to people with modern filmmaking? I mean, if I could somehow do that, I would be very happy. Uh, because when I can watch that movie so many times and still don't feel bored. But at the same time, it is not like like the story is there. It's not like we're just banging on science fiction elements to do the thing. It has emotion in it. So I don't know. I want to make those kind of movies, and those kind of movies give me inspiration. It's like a perfect mix of like the cinematic elements at the same time being art, and at the same time leaving the audience with something to aspire to, like feel the adventure, like the call for adventure, to say. Yeah.
Yeah, is it like a Robert Zemeckis thing, or is it just a combination of?
I would say it's a combination of things. That's why I said it's not a specific person. It's not a specific like cinematographer, or like any specific person, but like overall the combination of all those things. And I would say like it's never that, right? Like you need, that's why like you said, you need a community. You need the right combination of people to end up with such a like
Emotional, touching film.
but at the same, it's fun. So it's emotional in the sense like he goes back and like comes back a different person, and his life is changed. But at the same time, it's like there is science fiction, crazy comedy. There is comedy, but it's not like boring comedy. You can rewatch it and still feel like I would still laugh when I watch it. It's kind of fun. Yeah.
Kind of like the sci-fi version of Indiana Jones. Like it's like an adventure story.
Yeah.
But sci-fi. Yeah. Yeah. I think for me, it has to be, well, every day I'm inspired by somebody else. It's like, it's just every day it's like endless people doing just crazy, cool, original things. But yeah, mine has to be Sergio Leone. Like I have, ever since I was a kid, I'm not a big Western fan per se. Like I don't go out of my way. I've never been like the Cowboys and Indians, whatever. But I tell you, it's just something about making these films as an Italian, making an American Western film as an Italian in Spain, nonetheless, and just doing something so phenomenal, so original, so different of the genre at the time, that maybe it was a little bit of ahead of its time, but just the mix of music, the mix of pacing, like he just is very good at telling a cool story with a cool character. And I love that everything is just kind of slow, meandering, and then all of a sudden just like this huge spike of violence and just the eyes, the close up, like he did things that nobody else did before. And I just think, yeah, it's always been inspiring to me. I always want to make this like kind of horror Western film in that style, even maybe on the same sets in Spain. But yeah, I think it's just, for me, I think it's just really cool. And it's kind of like one of the reasons why I like this idea and kind of have this thesis about filmmaking in Europe. It's like a lot of movies are made in America. They're super expensive. They come here, Romania, Ireland, wherever to make movies. But to me, it's like we should be able to make a whole American film here in Europe with European talent, European crew, European production, work on the accents, and just make phenomenal movies, because there's just amazing talent here. There's original people, like original looking people, like very talented. And I think in America, I feel like the film industry has lost its luster a little bit. I think people aren't as excited to, see a film being shot on their street as much or whatever. I think they're so accustomed to it. And I think here people just are so passionate still. And yeah, I think it's just a good opportunity. And so like when I look back at Sergio Leone making these American style films in, being Italian, doing it in Spain, it's motivating. I think it's super cool.
Were those films funded by American studios back then?
No, I think that was actually Germany, Italy, and I forgot, maybe Spain. But yeah, it was a European funded film. But Germany actually invested in this film and was part of the production.
But it was like from the get-go made for American audience.
I don't know. Like I've been meaning to read his book. There's a book about him, but I don't know if it's targeted for America, but they did have Clint Eastwood who came, and I think they were just trying to do, well, I think he borrows a lot from Kurosawa, but I think, I'm not sure if it was targeted for America. And in fact, I think at the time it didn't do that great in America because I think it was just so different. But now it's like, it's in the top, 50 movies of all times. That's how some of these things happen. It's like It's a little bit of a box office stud, but then ends up being like a classic.
Later.
Yeah.
Yeah. And these are the spaghetti westerns.
Why? By the way, I have no idea. Why are they
Yeah,
called?
because
spaghetti?
they're made in Italy. I mean, well, actually, technically, it wasn't even made in Italy. It was made in Spain.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like you said, they are made in Spain.
Also, so there's another
Spain.
Sergio Carbucci who also made these really gory graphic westerns. And so it was just because it was Italians making them, they called it spaghetti westerns.
Oh, because of Italians in Spain for an American audience.
I don't know if Sergio Carbucci did everything in Spain, but there's, a lot of the sets from a few dollars more, fiscal dollars and stuff are in Spain, the south of Spain, and they're still there. It's like a tourist place. But in my dream would be rent it out, go make a horror, like a really core horror Western, very much in a style of Sergio Leone.
Nice. So I would say we want to get to know you guys even better now. And that's why we are making a round of exploring your film taste. So I guess we start with Ranjit. Yeah. What are the kind of films that you're usually like gravitating towards to when you're like in bed, just before sleeping, you just want to like watch a movie?
Either very, very sad ones, like really like making me cry, making me like, understand the character, like understand the pain, making me feel the pain, not physically, like mentally. Or like something that's more adventurous, just like Back to the Future, like timeless adventure. Or what is the one that is like Scott Pilgrim versus I forgot the rest of the name. It's like it's a mix of like animation and like comic storytelling, and like it's like it's very fun to watch, and like fun to lose your like sense of time and just be in the story and come out of it later, and like I had a good time. So those are the two kinds of things, like one really emotional things.
You have some examples for your emotional side? Film side?
Emotional themes. Like Old Boy. Like really.
That's more Cicada. I mean, it's like that's messed up, that one.
Like or there's a new there was a latest movie from the same director, The Decision to Leave. Very sad movie.
Oh, I haven't seen that. Already sounds sad. The title even sounds sad.
I don't know if it's the right translation, but it's in English. It's called The Decision to Leave. Like very, very dramatic. Like if you think about it from outside, like why does it need to be that dramatic? But like once you watch the movie, it's like you are in that world, and you just accept that life is this dramatic and life is this sad. But like logically, it is not. Those kind of movies. It's like. I don't know, unnecessarily sad, maybe. but I really enjoy movies' ability to make me feel that way, even though I don't believe, life can be that sad, or like it needs to be that sad. It's just
but I kind of understand that. You sometimes just want the movie to touch you, and if it's like getting an emotional response from you, whatever it is, it can be like sad or angry or I don't know, adventurous.
And
that's cool.
And but at the same time, you like use very cinematic. Like Old Boy is very cinematic. Like the shots, crazy shots coming, like somebody's coming out of somebody's mouth, and it's like it's not a traditional movie with like traditional shots. But at the same time, it's like it's very dramatic and emotional. So I really like those kind of movies where the filmmaker finds their style and they use the cinematic style. It's not like just the steady shots and just cutting between those two shots. Like very innovative filmmaking, but at the same time you watch it and leave touched. Those are the kinds of movies that stay in my memory. I would say, but I don't mind occasionally watching some superhero movies. Yeah.
Always a time.
I'm so burned out.
We're all burned out on superhero movies.
I don't want to see another comic book
right
movie
now,
ever
I'm
again.
actually like, I don't want to see another Marvel movie or whatever. It's all the same at the moment. What about you, Chris?
Yeah, I think, like I said, I think I'm inspired every day. But when I just reflected on this question, I don't think I really, really reflected on this question in some time. I think I like sci-fis a lot. I like movies that build a world that is maybe different than we have. Like wide shots, just a phenomenal world. Like Dune comes to mind, which I think is just. I mean, I've watched every version of Dune, read the books, and it's not that I'm a big Dune fan. It's just the very first Dune, even made by David Lynch. I just love the story. I love the music and all this stuff, and then Denis' version of it is phenomenal. I mean, just blows my mind. But yeah, I really like movies that build a world and put characters into it. The other thing I really, really like is when a story has like an underdog or somebody that is just nobody thinks much of them, and they are just kind of belittled and they're underestimated to everybody's apparel. Just like, they just wait, like maybe the first nobody, like this guy gets picked on and wakes up one day and just you realize they're just a complete badass, I just love those stories of like the world's closing in and then they just come out. And I mean, Rambo was First Blood is such a, like, I watched it again. It's still just such a great movie of this guy that just got picked on, and then they didn't realize who they were fucking with, and then the guy, goes off. And so I kind of like that. But yeah, right now I think it's just like sci-fi world building. Like I like the creator a lot. Dune. I mean, I love Dune. I cannot wait for the third one. It's just the strong visuals, strong color, strong emotion. Just a massive visual movie. Like Lawrence of Arabia. I love the movie. I mean, I just love these wide shots of landscape and stuff. It's just, it just feels like a very big classic movie. Doesn't have to be a big budget, but I just, I kind of like that. I'm drawn to those right now. I like all kinds of movies, don't get me wrong, but those are the kinds that are really drawn to me right now.
Yeah, I agree on Dune. Dune just looks absolutely amazing. Like this shot where he's like coming into the ceremony in the end, claiming he's Ilis al-Gaib.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that looks so great. I will never forget that shot. Like the first second I saw it, I was like, this can't be real.
Gives me chills too, because it's like he went from this kind of underdog, like, and then he just like took control and like, I love that kind of story.
It looked like he was going to become a cult leader, like he was going to be the opposite of what he stands for at some point. I haven't read the story, so I'm waiting for the third movie to come out.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's some liberty, but to your point, he kind of did it in a way that he had to do it to make it work. And but anyways, it's just the world they built there, phenomenal. Like the thing I like a lot about Denis and some other very few directors is the sense of scale. So like when you see a person next to like the foot of this robot, you realize the scale is just so ginormous, and these ships have such big scale. And I just love that because like you haven't seen that very often, where they've really taken scale. And this is it's funny because I watched Godzilla -1, and one of the things that they say in VFX that is sort of a trick is to just really make big scale, like really show the difference between big and small and scale. And then that oftentimes makes it look more real.
That sounds so easy if you have a budget of 100 euros.
Well, actually, yeah. But Godzilla -1, that movie was made for nothing, man. That how the heck did they pull that off?
Wasn't the director also the special effects supervisor? I think the director was like a special effects guy. So like,
I think it was like 20. It was kind of like Flow. It's like 20 people made that movie. It's ridiculous.
Is it like the original one?
No, it's recent. It's Godzilla -1. Yeah, it's their
like the Japanese version.
Yeah,
but we're living in a time of VFX. If you know how.
Yeah, but unfortunately, it's like my friends in VFX. I mean, that whole industry is sucked up.
Yeah. I mean, we talk about that another time, I guess. But
what about
let's hear
you?
yours, Tom.
Yeah.
I'm waiting forward to this.
Yeah. It's so funny. We're like chilling every day, but you don't really know my film taste. I would say
war movies. There, I said it.
Yeah, true. But there are like two things. So the first one is obviously war movies. So I've seen like literally every war movie ever. Sometimes I'm actually discovering new. Wow. Sometimes I'm actually discovering new war movies. But yeah, I feel like I've seen most of them already. But the second one is actually scientific related movies based upon true events. It's a very specific niche, but I really like those. There's one called Poetry of Infinity. I'm not sure if it's the direct translation. In German, it's called Die Poesie des Unendlichen, which is like about a super brilliant mathematic guy that is born in India. And
Ramanujan, you mean?
yeah, that guy, yeah. And he's like going to Oxford, but he's always like making this crazy calculations, and he has no idea how like he gets to the point of having like the solution to the mathematical problem. And I also like what's the other one? Oh, Good Will Hunting, for example. It's like a great movie. It's also like the same category, but this movie, for example, I like more because of the therapy relationship between the two people. It's like more from a social perspective. It's a very interesting movie. Yeah, especially with my background in social work. I was working as a social worker for like 5 years. I'm like super interested in social studies, and yeah, that guy is obviously coming from like a low income family, and it's super unrealistic in my opinion. But I mean, who the hell is like reading 200 books in a low income family? I don't think that happens so often, but in the movie it's just like pretty beautiful, like their relationship. So yeah, I would say war movies based upon true events, and scientific related movies are like my go-to movies.
What's your hot take on Oppenheimer?
Oh, I know why you're saying hot take. Ramani, if you're listening to this, I'm sorry, but I didn't like Oppenheimer. I don't think the story was very interesting.
You mean the events, because it's based on real events? So.
Yeah, no. I mean, the real events are obviously significant, I would say.
Okay, so you are talking about the way it was told.
Yeah, the thing is, like, the second the bomb exploded, I was like, yeah, now I lost all my interest, and it was still like, I don't know how many minutes it was after that, but it was pretty tough, especially if maybe it's also because I'm not a native English speaker, and all the skirt scenes were like incredibly hard to understand for me. But I don't know, there was not so much interesting stuff in this movie, like especially compared to like Interstellar, for example. Which was this the movie he did before, or was there like one in between? Was it Interstellar and the next one was Oppenheimer?
No, Tenet.
Oh, let's forget about that one.
I actually like Tenet.
Yeah, I don't know how the hell you understood that, but I had people in my cinema going out watching that movie.
Okay.
Yeah,
Like half of it. So literally they didn't understand anything of the movie, I think, and they just went out.
Yeah, I really like Tenet too, but I did not understand most of the dialogues when I was watching it in the theater. I clearly remember that. Like, we were asking each other, like, "Can you hear anything?"
Oppenheimer?
No.
Tenet.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's hope Odyssey has nothing to do with time. I mean, the thing is, Christopher Nolan is like, he has to map out some complex, like, crazy story to make all the time work. But Oppenheimer didn't have much. I mean, it did kind of cut, in between time a little bit. But let's see what Odyssey is. Hopefully, it's not some crazy time thing. 'Cause I'd like to see him produce a linear story for once.
Yeah, that would be cool. How the hell would you make the Odyssey about time?
I don't even know if it's about the Greek. I don't know what the story is about.
Yeah,
to be
is
honest.
it just a name, or is it really?
No,
about
it's filmed
Odyssey?
in Greek. Like,
Yeah, but I don't know. Are we saying is it Homer's Odyssey, or is that just the title? I don't know. Like, I haven't heard enough about it to know if it's, or maybe it's Homer's Odyssey. I don't know.
I mean, that's gonna be hard to make it about time.
Yeah, true. You never know.
Yeah.
All right. So as we're wrapping up, like, what movies have you seen lately? What movies do you want to see?
That's such a hard question because I like it. I'm like a goldfish. I watched the movie yesterday and I forgot the name already.
Oh, jeez.
I watched this movie called I Like Movies. It's a small movie from Canada.
It's called I Like Movies.
Yes, it's a story of a like high school kid who wants to go to New York School of Arts to study filmmaking, but his family doesn't have money to do that, and he goes to work at a Blockbuster store, not the Blockbuster equivalent of Canada. So it's not set in the current timeline. So he it's just his story of, like, he realizing he cannot go to film school, and it's a short in 4:3. This was suggested to me by the director of the short film I'm going to be the DOP for, and she was like, like if you want to know the mood I'm going for, watch this movie. So this was like a homework for me. I really liked it. It's a very how do you say, like, low budget movie. like shot with like very limited number of crew and cast, and it's like yeah, they have distributors and stuff, but like it's really nice, cute movie, but feature film nonetheless. Yeah.
The last movie?
Or yeah, just like what
Something from
last
the
movie you
recent-
had, and what do you want, like what movie is on the horizon? Oh, I know what movie you saw recently.
No,
Mission
I know.
Impossible.
Yeah, four recent movies I can remember. So the last one I saw was Mission Impossible: The Final Reckoning. That was like 2 days ago. Well, I was a bit disappointed, I would say. I mean, it just felt like a bit like a compilation from all the other Mission Impossible movies. Always like an absolute pleasure to see. They just look absolutely amazing. And I was entertained. I have to admit, I was entertained, but it wasn't like the best movie I've ever seen. It was okay-ish. Also, I think the Mission Impossible before was way better, and like most of the movies before were way better. The one I saw before was French Connection, because you recommended me watching it. Really liked the cinematography there. I realized that we need to bring back the zooms now. Like, I was never a fan, but if you, I think there's like one requirement: you have to shoot on film. If you go digital and zoom too much, it looks kind of cheap. But if you are filming with like real film stock, then you can zoom. That's just my hot take on this one. Yeah, great movie. Shows a cool side of America in, what was this, like the 70s? 60s?
Yeah, 70s basically.
Yeah, everything looks super old and cool. And yeah, before I saw The Brutalist, which was also all right. Not my favorite movie of all time, I would say. Like a vampire movie. I think it's, what did I say after the cinema? I think I said that the bigger picture of the story wasn't that interesting. It was more about metaphors and the details about what like made the movie good. But yeah, I was missing like the bigger storyline a bit. And I'm binge watching Dr. House again.
I never watched the show.
I love it. Yeah, it's great.
Yeah, for those in America, it's just called House.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. House.
Yeah, it's not called Dr. House.
Dr. House is better. It's a better name. 100%.
I think what I'm learning is movies in Europe or Germany need to kind of set what they are. Like Sinners was called something else. It was called like Blood and Sinners or something.
Oh my God, yeah. You know how long it took me to understand that Der Pate is The Godfather? Oh my God. I was always like, no, The Godfather I haven't seen. No, never. And then someone was like, wait, you haven't seen Der Pate? And I was like, what do you mean? Like, what? Why would you call it Der Pate? And it's completely, I mean, it's not completely different, but yeah. It's also like a bit of my lack of English vocabulary sometimes. I didn't know that like Pate means Godfather in English, yeah. But The Godfather sounds so much more epic, I can tell you guys. Like Der Pate in German. Yeah. Not a very good title. But yeah, it happens so many times, and sometimes it's actually like wondering why they're even doing this. It doesn't improve the title at all.
Yeah, I'm confused sometimes when I hear it. So yeah, for me, I think let's see. I obviously, as the intro alluded, we watched
Boss Man.
That was also my last movie, but as I said, I'm a goldfish.
yeah. I almost forgot it. Thank you. I was blanked out on it. But yeah, Ryan Gosling. Yeah, I thought that was a great movie. The cinematographer was phenomenal. I saw The Sinners, which I thought was really good. I think I went and saw it with a bunch of Europeans. There's so much inside about America and the slave history and stuff. So I feel like it didn't resonate as well with the people I went and saw it with as it did for me, because I felt like it just had a lot of inside about that time and that period, which I thought was really good. I'm just, I'm amazed at all the sort of praise Ryan's getting. He made Fruitvale Station, which was about a teenager got shot at a BART station in San Francisco. I was there at the time. Like, I lived there. I remember all this stuff happening. And he's just, his career, he was a football player, went to film school at USC, boom, skyrocket. And I don't think people should go to film school, if you ask me. I feel like all that money, you could just go make films and learn. But, somehow I think it did well for him. And so I love that movie. I thought that was super good. I've been actually wanting to watch The Departed again because, it's a Scorsese film. But what I learned is that if you watch the movie, everybody gets killed. There is an X that shows up near them in the frame. Like whether or not they're walking through scaffolding, they'll walk through something that forms an X.
Oh.
And it's like you could see everybody that gets killed. And I was like, oh man, that's so great, because I love it when there's some kind of like Easter egg or some kind of like thing that a director does in the movie to kind of like
Are you referring to Fight Club?
Of course, there's Fight Club as well, yeah. But that was a little bit harder to tell. And yeah, movies I want to see. I want to see Death of a Unicorn. That looks bizarre and interesting.
What is this?
So this has got Jenna Ortega in it. It's got a few people, but they end up going to the woods. One of the guys that goes with them hangs out with them, and what they do is they hunt unicorns. Nobody knew they were alive. They hunt unicorns because they extract something from the horn that gives humans, like, I guess, everlasting life. And they do it, but then the unicorn turns evil and like turns into a horror story and like goes after them with like gnarly teeth and eats them and stuff like that. So I think it just looks bizarre and interesting, and this is what I love about A24 Neon is I think they're making movies that are just different than mainstream. So I'm so tired of the anti-risk Hollywood movie. They don't take a chance on anything. So I think that's good, but we'll have to see with A24 and making, raising all this money. And now like pressure's on. Now they're just going to become like another studio where they're going to like be risk averse maybe. I don't know.
Okay, I think that was the first episode ever.
Yep. So far so good.
For podcasts.
It was fun.
It was super fun. Yeah. I would say please subscribe to our YouTube channel if you're watching this on YouTube, and if not, leave a follow on Spotify or wherever you're listening to that. And
check out the show notes for links to all the things that we mentioned. Filmmakers and Movienerds, some of the films that we watched, some of our short films that we're talking about. And and hopefully you'll take this bumpy ride with us, like Ryan in the rocket ship.
Yeah,
taking off at like extreme vibration. That's how I feel. It's gonna be a bumpy ride, but hopefully we end up getting to the moon.
Yeah. See you next week.
And land on the right spot.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.